Apologize if nobody gets back. I said there is a thunderstorm going on right now nearby, so it's probably messing with signals and all that lovely stuff. So I'll try my best. We'll see what happens. Said I'm just pinning this in place, and hopefully we will get this attached before it completely goes to put. Hopefully people can find us again. So, so I am pinning this all the way around. And it takes a while when you're pinning about every half an inch. So don't let this frustrate. Oh, I'm so slow at this. I'm taking my time. Don't let it bother you. Um, said I'm at least going to show y'all what it looks like when they're sewn. And when I'm sewing it, the biggest thing is taking your time. If you have to open, welcome. I said, hopefully we'll get people back. Um, Second part two of tonight. The connection went kind of screwy there for a little bit. So working on H2O, so showing what I do to pin the bottoms of a circle bag or a circular bottom onto a cylindrical bag. The biggest thing is like make sure you cut enough clips in your curves, and if you have to pin every quarter inch, pin every quarter inch or clip. I just find pins are less likely to move on me. So hopefully we will get people back that showed up. It's kind of annoying when weather does. I know I'm out of sync, but gotta love when weather plays with everything. Whoops. And then you hit your camera. Need like 3 or 4 more pins. Okay. Great. So that should do it for our pins. All right. So if you see tons and tons of pins, right. We have our lining, we have our exterior. So I'm going to take these to the machine. Lots of pins. They ain't going to move anywhere. Like I said, you could do clips, but I find clips, unless I'm using vinyl, excuse me. I don't use clips because I like how secure pins are in relationship to that. So now I'm going to take this to the machine. I'll just, my allergies are driving me nuts. And there we go. So we're going to sew this. And so the best way to do that is apparently my thread has decided to jump ship. It can come unthreaded. It happens sometimes. So we are going to thread the machine back. There we go. All right, so it's threaded back. And we are going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I will just pull out my pins as I get to them. Sometimes after I get to them. So we do a little bit at a time. Do a little bit at a time around. It's pretty good. Plushies are fun. I've made a few plushies. I actually do more plushies on the embroidery machine than I do on the sewing machines. I have sewn many garments and stuff like that. I have sewn doll clothes. I'm actually going to, some of the stuff I'll be working on this summer is I'm going to be sewing some 18-inch George Washington. Yes, I'm back. I got it to work again. Um, I think we had a severe thunderstorm warning come in for a little bit, so I think it messed with the signal. That's the only thing I can think. So, so this summer I will be showing you some of the things I use when I do like doll clothing, which is a little bit different than when you do regular size clothing or even bags. But I've been a bag maker now for probably about 7 or 8 years. Um, I sew all levels of bags. And before I finish tonight, I'll show you some of the ones I've done recently. I've made a Maryland wallet earlier this week because decided I needed a toothless one, and I've been holding this toothless um, tiny panel forever. That's the best way to put it. And yes, I am going very slow, but if you want to make sure you don't have any weird creases in your fabric as you're going around, it's better just to go a few stitches at a time, pull out your pins, and go. But yeah, biggest thing when you're going and doing like interesting shapes, take your time. I have done. I love doing circle bags, so and that's a little different than doing a. That's putting a gusset on a circular top or bottom, so it's a little different. It's kind of the same, but it's not, because, the size and the opening's usually a lot bigger than this itty bitty one for a water bottle at the moment. Yeah, I think. This holds like a 32-ounce, water bottle easily, so I don't use one quite that big. So I carry sometimes I and around the house, I carry one like this, but of course, I'm not gonna use a water bottle holder in the house, even though I could. But like I said, I'm going to the parks, this but I'm going camping this weekend. So and I'm going to be teaching little girls how to do archery. So need to have a water bottle handy walking around Girl Scout camp. So and having an extra hand, uh, by not holding on to the water bottle will be very much appreciated. So, like I said, we're about 3/4 of the way around. What's kind of cool about sewing the Peltex down like we did, that'll give you a really cool kind of stitch, especially since I'd used a coordinating thread that also gives you kind of a, um, what is it, design detail. So that's actually what's kind of cool about the, I had somebody who commissioned the one that's in the colors of buttercup, but and I did an embroidered buttercup on the pocket, but the actual outside of the bag is just black and green. But she wants me to do the top stitching on the black with green and on the green with black, just to have it be kind of nondescript, but at the same time completely nerdy. So don't forget to back stitch. This. is the only thing with this is that I am doing no pockets on this one. So you use double the um, lining, except you make your exterior a little bit longer. And Lindsay, in her pattern, actually says how to do that. So I'm not going to give, of course, any measurements or anything like that. But we're going to trim down our seam allowance here to about a quarter of an inch, give or take. We'll go all the way around and we'll sew the exterior. All right, so to make sure this is right, mm, so for this, I will go ahead and turn this right side out. If you can see, nice little detail for the stitching. As far as the size, this is the same size, the normal size and everything, just like this one that I made last week. So you see, it's the same size. This is just not going to have the exterior pocket. That's the big thing. So here is that one, turned right side out. Everything looks good on the bottom. So I'll set that to the side. We're going to sew this together on the machine. But first, I think I'm going to go ahead and sew my D-ring connector. So basically, I'm going to do an 1/8 of inch seam allowance, top stitch all the way around, cut it in half, and then fold it through my triangle rings. Not that hard. But I have it so when we're done with the next part, we can just go ahead and attach them. So we are just going to do a real quick. Now, I will have some people say, "Oh, so you're going to go to the end and uh, stop and do your back stitch?" Nope. I make my life simple, and I will just go across one end and back down the other because nobody's going to ever see that end. So, what does it matter if you just made it that you didn't have to take your fabric off? Now, that's something different I do that is not most patterns. Um, I think I do it in one of my patterns, but that's a little different. So, because it's one of mine, so it's how I do it. So, yeah, we're just going to. So, I just take that in half, and I'm going to take the triangle ring, slide that right through, and I will hold that together. And just so I don't lose my triangle ring in the meantime, I will stitch across there. And there's one strap connector. I said the pattern calls for a D ring. I just prefer rectangle rings because I like that it doesn't roll around in the strap connector or D ring connector piece. All right, so we're going to do the other one. And yes, I could just baste this, but anytime I have basting that's not going to be seen, I do a reverse stitch just so that my stitches don't come undone. So it's not something you're required to do, it's just what I do. Now, I know Lindsay does not have you stitch it to close. She uses a clip just to hold it in place. That's just my personal preference. So now we're going to take our exterior and we're going to sew this down. yet again with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And so it's not bad to go a little bit over the time. Just take your time going around. And you will see me, even though I've got my pins in, I do kind of grab the fabric and pull it up so where it's equal to that bottom. It opens those clips I made in the curves a little bit more, but it also means that it's actually where it's supposed to be. And so we just take our time going around. There's nothing wrong with taking as much time as possible, not possible, much time as needed, not possible, needed to go around. So we are going to work our way around. But I do change some things in the pattern as do a pattern. Like I said, this is only the third time I've sewn this pattern. First time I've sewn it, no pockets. So I'm kind of improvising. Um, just kind of going with what I know personally. And Lynn's did say, "Oh, you could do this with just two liner pieces, basically, and make it for a kid." And I like that idea, especially for my 9-year-old who does not need all the extra pockets because she will find stuff to stuff in them that she does not need to carry with her, especially to Girl Scout camp. But if I don't have to keep up with her water bottle, more power to it. I will be greatly appreciative of that. No, there are a lot of people who change this pattern. There is a square bottom hack for this pattern that apparently makes it a whole lot easier. I like the fact that it's round bottom, like most. 'Cause I really don't know a water bottle that has a square bottom. So I'm kind of like, why do you want to have a square bottom? Except that it's easier to sew, less pieces, and they don't have the curved pocket. They have a square pocket basically. And that's all fine and good. I like how it's done, and I find it that way. But some people prefer the other because either they don't trust their skills or they're just more comfortable doing it with the square bottom hack. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's at a different skill level and comfort level, and nothing is wrong in sewing because everybody's coming up with new things all the time, at least in my experience, which is why I write patterns because usually it's something, oh, I need this. It's how I came up with the switch pattern because I was traveling back and forth to the hospital all the time with my daughter when she was initially diagnosed with cancer. I need something just small I could stick basically in a pocketbook to protect my switch. So we have our bottom completely sewn. So I'm going to trim this one down too. Now you could take pinking shears, you could take straight stitch here. Um, Either one would work here. Sometimes I do pink and shears. When I go up around the top, I will use pink and shears because I want to go a little bit. And but these already have clips in them, so we're just trimming this down so that when we combine them, they don't have issues or added bulk. Probably better ways, but not issues. Bulk. Okay, and we clip all the way around. And we still miss some clipping. Didn't get the bottom layer. But there are other people who have changed this pattern to make it bigger, smaller. Somebody actually made that front pocket coffin shaped, which I thought was kind of cool. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. All right, so big thing here. Probably not continue much past this, but just to show y'all, I have I do turn it right side out just to make sure that there's no big like lumps in my stitching. And so you can see stitching where I stitched down the Peltex. So it's a nice pretty added, especially since I've got the top stitch in a contrasting fabric. Contrasting thread that you can actually see the stitching all the way around, and it's the other added stability. So I'm just making sure that all looks good. So we're going to turn it back right side out. I'm going to attach my D-rings up here, one on each side, and then I will tuck my lining in here, stitch all the way across, flip it, close up the hole, and top stitch it, and I'm done. Because I've already got the strap made, and so I'm gonna call it for a night tonight, and I will see y'all next Wednesday. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing next Wednesday yet, but I will be sewing next Wednesday. Figure out what it is. I'll let you know then, sooner than later. All right, everybody have a good night.